connecting your brain and body with interactive games and tests. Why is there no physical activity in today's health physical? Trazer is an holistic technology used to rehabilitate, prevent falls, and improve sport performance. Trazer reports provide you, your clinician, your physical therapist, or athletic trainer objective data to make decisions on your health and performance over time. Measure what matters to change your game. Take the Trazer Challenge. Confidence, growth, connected by Trazer.
At Fusion Sport, we're all about driving human performance. We develop and support a range of technologies all designed to assist people to be their best. Smarterbase is used by hundreds of elite sporting organisations across the globe, and more recently has been used by the military and performing arts as well.
Our Smarterbase technology has at the heart of it an integrated and connected philosophy. What's different about Smarterbase is that it's truly flexible and self-engineerable. That really puts the power into our customers' hands, and it allows them to use it in unique ways that perhaps we haven't even thought of.
We don't tell them the rest of the field, but here comes Jemmy Stone.
What's going on, everybody? Your man Eric Wilson here for the Sports Arena on a Wednesday night. Let me get the entire crew in here because we're going to keep the conversation going that we had from Monday night, talking about a few things such as DeShaun Watson and, of course, the Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma on the verge of leaving and moving on, if you will, to maybe the powerhouse of the SEC, maybe the ACC, Big 10. We don't even know. But as always, first and foremost, our girl, Dallas Wings rep, 806 Sports and the Sip Off. Miss Megan Price is in the building. Megan, I see you wearing your Rangers shirt. How you doing? You okay?
I'm sad. I'm really sad.
I'm sorry. I just, it's what, you know what? You always have to remember it's a business.
It is. No, I wish him the best. Joey Gallo got traded to the Yankees, and he was like the only bright spot on our roster. We're just really bad. But, wish him the best and hope, he's going to be on a winning team now. So wish him the best, and we're in a rebuild.
All right. Fair enough. Let me get my man say it again. My man Ty Ray's in the house tonight. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Oh, I can't see me on camera. What's up, man?
I'm all right. How you doing? I see you got your Carolina blue on tonight. So talk to me about this, man. What's this all about? You got say it again behind you. You got the 3-point conversion hat. You representing Carolina blue. What's
man.
Going on?
All I need is a sip-off shirt and my Sports Arena towel, and I have everything on. Nah, man, I've been a UNC fan since I can remember. I don't even know. I can't remember not being a UNC fan. So one of my favorite teams. I got me 3 UNC shirts like this, so you'll start to see them in rotation.
Okay, fair enough. Let me get Sideline Sports Cardiac Cane. Mr. John Shears in the house. Good evening, sir. What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, doing pretty well. Going through a transition with Cardiac Cane. We don't have an editor anymore, so that's fun.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
can we say new editor, John Shear?
I don't know. I'd be happy to take that position if it was offered.
Fair enough. Last but not least, let me welcome in my brother, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, Mr. Michael Caratanudo's in the building. Mike, what's up, man?
Man, I love – it's funny because Megan's, sad. I mean, it should be no shock. Of course he was leaving. They can't win a game. Sorry, Megan.
We won one. We won one.
I know that is true, and he does lead the league in walks. I mean, so the Yankees are getting a guy that's either going to hit a home run, walk, and maybe strike out, but he's not leading the league in strikeouts. So, and he leads the league with a lot of walks. So I'll take free bases in baseball.
That's the best we had. What can I say? It's the best.
I know. And Eric, there's I already saw some reports. I know we're going to get into it, but there's already lawyers involved with blocking OU and Texas from leaving the Big 12.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's first talk about DeShaun Watson, because we had a pretty spirited conversation on Monday night just talking about potential places he could wind up. And, of course, we talked about, Alex, who is not with us at Carolina, but we talked about Denver. We talked about the possibility of him going to John Shear's Miami Dolphins. We talked about, there was even talk of New Orleans. And I'm just like, where does he fit? And of course, I'd be remiss if I did not say there was talk about him going to Philadelphia. But again, I just don't see that happening. But John Shear, I want to pick up the conversation with you. And over the last couple of days, now that we've had time to kind of think about everything, what are your thoughts about DeShaun Watson's exit from Houston? Is there going to be one?
There will be one eventually. But it's not going to be, I don't think, this year. I think they're going to hold him hostage. I think that the reason he showed up, we all know, is just so he doesn't get fined. I don't see him playing, but I see them holding him hostage. It's such an ugly situation. And I think the Texans are willing to just ruin their whole entire organization just to spite him. And this is such a dumb thing that they're doing to him. Just let him go. It's the only asset you actually have, and you're a terrible team. So why not get rid of him? And for a reasonable price, not 5 high picks. It's just stupid. Like, that's like Ben Simmons. It's like 76ers asking for that much out of Ben Simmons. Like, come on. Nobody's actually going to give you that. Be realistic.
And I think as time goes on, they will be. But, Mike, you automatically are shaking your head to John Shear. So I guess counterpoint. What's your counterpoint there, sir?
No, I agree with John. He will be gone. But, again, you have to ask for that. You can't give up a top 5 quarterback, top 6, top 10, whatever you want to say. But definitely when he's healthy in the discussion for the top 5. Let's just say that. You're not going to give up a top 5 quarterback for mid-round picks. Teams are going to cough up first-round picks. Or, it puts Houston in a worse spot, and I think teams are banking on that, to John's point. It puts Houston in a worse spot because, he is an asset. Get rid of him. But at the same time, you're not going to give him away for anything. And, again, it's a negotiation point. So, saying 3 first-rounders and 2 second-round, whatever it is. Everybody sees the 3 first-round picks. Well, throughout history, yes, we talked about the other day how teams have given up a huge amount to go up and get what they thought is their franchise quarterback. So DeShaun Watson, obviously young, yes, has the legal stuff, as we know, going on. But if he's on the roster in the beginning of the season, they're paying him to sit there, and Tyrod Taylor's going to be the quarterback, and you don't want him to get injured. So, to John's point, and others, I've seen this all over, and the first thing I thought of is just tell him that you're not going to fine him, but just to stay away. But they didn't tell him that, and he's there, and he's not getting fined. So that's that. But I think he does get traded before the season starts, John. That's where I disagree with you.
The only thing, and I'll let the other two talk real quick, but the only counter I have to that is your biggest asset in trading Deshaun Watson is the other team that gets him has an entire season out of him. So the longer you take, the less time the other team gets out of him. And remember, this isn't like Madden. Right. You can't just plug a guy in. They have to take time to learn the playbook and learn the team. And you're only going to get one season before the dreaded February comes, and then the potential suspension and maybe jail time or whatever happens out of all that stuff. Who knows?
So you still can't give him away for nothing. Right.
The longer you take,
but you still can't give him away for nothing.
Right.
All right, fine. You can't give him away for nothing. So then let me ask Megan Price. What would be a reasonable ask of the Houston Texans for DeShaun Watson?
I mean, maybe just a little bit less. I think the difference is that we know what DeShaun Watson can do, and he's worth every bit of that. If he didn't have what was going on off the field with Ben Simmons, we don't know that he's worth that. He hasn't proved that he's worth what Philly is asking. So while there are some similarity in the situations, they're different because Ben Simmons has not proved himself. We know what DeShaun Watson can do. We know that he's capable. We know that he's a top 6 quarterback. So I don't think that they're necessarily wrong for asking that much, but it's just a question of who wants to deal with the off field. Like, you know that this may only be a Band-Aid for your franchise, for your team for one season. And now there are teams that are willing to risk that, and that's perfectly fine. But it's different than the situation in Philly for sure. So I think he's worth what they're asking.
All right. So then, Tyree, I'm going to move it over to you and simply say, Megan says less than the 5 first rounders that Houston is asking
Maybe 4.
Maybe 4. What team in your eyes, Tyree, do you think not only needs DeShaun Watson, wants DeShaun Watson, but can handle the media frenzy that comes along with DeShaun Watson?
I honestly don't know. I got some inside information that he probably will be on the commissioner's exempt list. I know that's the last thing anybody wants to hear, but that's what I've been told. I know I jumped the gun a little bit Monday night. I don't want that to happen to DeShaun. I really like DeShaun. He's from the Carolinas. I feel like the one team that really would take a chance on him already has a quarterback. I know Dallas is normally willing to take a chance on a lot of people. I feel like Dallas would, but they have Dak, even though we seen today that he has some issues with his shoulder. I don't know. But if I had to say anybody outside of Dallas, that's tough, man, because like you said, you don't know you're going to have him for 1 year. But I do think a fair package for him would be 2 first-round picks, considering the fact that you're only going to have him for 1 year. I think 2 first-round picks isn't bad, and maybe a second-round pick, because Khalil Mack got, I want to say they traded 2 first-round picks for him, if I'm not mistaken. So I think maybe 2 first-round picks in a second, or possibly 3 first-round picks. I wouldn't go beyond that, considering it's only a 1 year rental. You don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Now we could get to February and maybe that doesn't happen, and maybe this stuff goes away. I hope that's what happens, because obviously if he didn't do what they're saying he did, But I mean, I don't know.
Since it's all civil, though, Eric, I mean, I'm with Ty on this. Like, everybody keeps saying, yes, you have him through this year uninterrupted if he doesn't go on the commissioner's list, right? So you have him for 1 year uninterrupted. But it all being civil and not criminal, and we just have to go off this. Like, I can see, like John was saying, we were saying the other day too, like 6 games. I think 8 would be a lot. I mean, a first-time offender, granted, it's like that old line in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, where the professor's like, I only have one question with 27 parts to it. So, I mean, it's one lawsuit, but with like 22 parts to it, and it is civil, not criminal. So I think he would be suspended. I mean, I would say 6, and then he would appeal it and get the first 4 games of next season. That would be my guess, since he's a first-time offender. Yes, the numbers are bad, and like we've said from the beginning, everybody said it, Eric, if he's guilty, then yes, he deserves all the bad things coming to him if it comes that way. But again, it plays out. We have to, again, I know people don't want to stay patient in this day and age. It needs to play out. Yes, it won't be till February, but yeah, I mean, I'd say if you're worried about a suspension, I'm with Ty. You could probably get it down to 2 first-round picks, but I would say like maybe 2 first, a second, and a third, because I always talk about building depth in the draft, Eric. When we do the draft show, like that's when you build depth, and that's what Houston needs too. So you get 2 firsts, a second, and a third, and you go from there. But I think, again, I mean, well, Dallas, they didn't have Dak, yes, but I mean, Alex brought up Carolina. I'm not going to do that to Sam Darnold, but the Saints, I mean, if you could somehow make it work cap-wise. Dude, could you imagine him down there with Sean Payton? I mean, when Alex said that the other day, that'd be ridiculous.
Well, everybody keeps saying that Taysom Hill has a crazy deal. None of that money, I don't think, is guaranteed. I think it's all dead money.
This year, no.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. None of it's guaranteed, Megan. I think it's all dead money. I think
it's all money they can get out of after this year.
Yeah.
So they're not paying him a dime of that big contract.
Yeah,
they're going to
he's
cut
not
him
getting all that money. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right,
I mean,
fair enough. Go ahead, Megan.
New Orleans would be a nice fit. That would be ridiculous. I would hate to be in that division.
It'd be very interesting to see DeShaun Watson in a New Orleans uniform. You know, think about this for a second. You're going from Drew Brees to DeShaun Watson. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, that actually, it does make some sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And you got to understand like that geographically, like, because a lot of people down here in Texas, like a lot of people that are in Houston are transplants from New Orleans and from Louisiana because of the storm.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a ton of effects from that. So there's a lot of New Orleans fans in Houston.
So what about when Kirk Cousins goes, what about the Vikings trying to pull the trigger on DeShaun Watson?
Hey, man, didn't I tell you to leave first Cousins alone, man?
That guy's going to be gone after this year. That big deal will finally be over. I'm just asking you. That's my question. What happens if
we don't
say my scenario, he's gone, and they pull the trigger on Watson?
You gotta watch.
You know what?
Man.
The best thing.
Look, I'm trying to think outside the box.
The best thing that can happen is if somehow the Vikings win the North this year, and they all have to sit here and actually give Kirk Cousins credit because at some point the quarterback has to get credit.
No, it's not going to happen.
That defense isn't terrible. First of all, that defense isn't terrible.
It's really young.
Mike, this is my issue. Mike, this is my issue with John. John told
bring
me
your issue on. Please, bring your issue on.
John told me how trash Derek Carr was. He said, "Oh, Derek Carr is terrible." So I'm like, I'm defending Derek Carr. I'm showing you stats that showed you. You know, he's an above average quarterback. Then I look at this Joker's fantasy team. This Joker got Derek Carr all over his fantasy team. I'm like, hold up, John.
Look,
I thought he was trash.
I skipped all the quarterbacks in the satellite league, a 12-team satellite league. I skipped all the quarterbacks just so I could pile up on all the running backs and receivers. I skipped the quarterbacks on purpose, and then I went and tried to get value-add quarterbacks, these garbage quarterbacks that I hope turn into something for me, just half decent. That's what I did. That's what my strategies. They work in fantasy. Don't play that game with me. You want to go all night talk fantasy? We
Derek
can.
Carr. This is what John forgets too. Ty is Derek Carr when he got injured. Like they were the AFC favorites.
He broke his back.
He broke his leg.
Right,
he broke his leg. Yeah, and they were the AFC favorites. Look, John Gruden wants to. Though I'm with Ty on this. You're absolutely wrong. You call Derek Carr trash. I'm sorry. He'll have a better season statistically than
fantasy
Tua.
football and the NFL.
I'm not talking. No, I'm talking in fantasy football, not in fantasy football. He's going to have a better season statistically than Tua, hands down, and it won't be even close.
I mean, he was top 10 in every statistical category last year.
Yes, thank you.
Top 10 quarterback.
And Darren Waller.
He
puts up numbers. He puts up yardage. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah, so did Vinny Testaverde, top 10 in yards all time? And is Vinny Testaverde a Hall of Fame quarterback?
But I'm saying
fantasy-wise,
no, it's not
fantasy-wise, you're right. Like, fantasy-wise, you want them to get the yards. That's where you get the points from. But, no, the Raiders are not winning more than the Dolphins. Mike, that's hate. It's not happening.
No, I said Derek Carr is going to have a better season. I said Derek Carr is going to have a better season than Tua.
Wow, I was about to say.
Hey, John, I know Eric always gives me crap when I say a coach or a player, when are the end-all, be-all. Guess who wanted Derek Carr and missed him by one pick? Bill Belichick. So he knows more than you. And
that's fine. Bill Belichick just went and got Mac Jones, so I don't necessarily trust everything he does. So.
He wanted Derek Carr, and he was right about Derek Carr. Mac Jones.
But what was he right about? What did Derek Carr do in his career?
What do you mean?
How many times have he been to the playoffs? 0 times?
John got some jelly beans stuck in his ears or something, man.
Yeah, Tua's going to be MVP. Tua's going to be MVP. Oh, and Megan, Minnesota's
defense have been to the playoffs same amount of times.
For you, and
same amount of playoff wins.
No,
Tua hasn't been in the playoffs.
Don't do me on Kirk
Tua hasn't been in the playoffs.
Kirk Cousins is trash.
Minnesota
he robbed
secondary.
the Vikings.
He
robs them every single year.
Fine, this is for John. Minnesota secondary is the best in the North. And if you guys think any different, Chicago, Minnesota secondary is the best in the North.
Mike, I don't doubt.
Do you know who Jair Alexander is on the Packers? Have you watched
the whole secondary? Not one player.
Mike,
the whole secondary.
Have you watched the Bears secondary?
I take nothing
Minnesota-
away
watch
from
them. They're not very
Minnesota's
good.
defense. Okay,
No, Eddie
I
Jack
take
ain't very
nothing
good.
away from them. I think Minnesota's defense across the board is a top tier defense. It's Kirk Cousins.
I know.
That's what it is.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. I and I will be
Kirk
laughing
Cousins-
when you guys have to backtrack
Kirk
if they win the
Cousins
North.
will throw you in games, much like
Oh,
Phillip Rivers, and he will throw you out of games.
He'll give you
Mr.
Bless him,
84,
he's a thief.
Mr.
He'll give you
$84 million. I'm a bet on myself,
Yeah.
and it's still
Good
the
for
walking
him.
piece
Good
of
for him.
mediocrity. You
He'll
know what
give
it is?
you-
Let me give you the totality.
No,
of
you
this.
have mediocrity and then you have Kurt.
Oh, get out of
No.
here.
When I say the
Below
walking piece of
average.
mediocrity, typically I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys. When I talk about individual walking piece of mediocrity, that is Kirk Cousins. If Kirk Cousins was on the Dallas Cowboys, it would truly be the mediocrity team. You
When
wouldn't
I
go
talk
more
about
than
Megan,
500
You do
every
realize
year, and every year you'd be talking about we're the best in the league.
Yeah, Eric, you do realize
Oh,
Minnesota's
you
better than Philly,
quarterback.
right?
I hate him.
Hey, Megan, that's
What's
okay.
that
But I
saying,
talk
though?
about
What's
walking
that really
trash.
saying?
Minnesota's better than Philly. I'm just saying, like,
Okay. All
Well,
right.
yeah, Dalvin Cook.
put Minnesota
Oh,
in the
and by the way,
I
NFC.
don't
by the
know.
way-
You said Minnesota is better than Philly this year?
Yes.
Absolutely.
This year?
Yes.
Philly's gonna have one of the worst
I think this year.
records.
The
Not this year,
quarterback,
we're not.
I mean, look, as much as I like
think-
Jalen Hurts,
I like
Kirk
Jalen
Cousins-
Hurts. I like Jalen
no, I'm
Hurts.
saying, as much as I like Jalen Hurts, Kirk Cousins is better.
Yeah, I like Fulgham too.
Philly don't have a running back better than Dalvin Cook.
Miles Sanders.
Justin
Okay,
Jefferson.
Miles
okay.
Sanders.
Yeah,
Who's better than
Justin
Dalvin Cook?
Jefferson?
Are you serious?
Justin
A
Jefferson?
couple of running backs.
You gonna stack Dalvin Cook against Miles Sanders? Is that what
I'd
you gonna do to me
put
right
Dalvin
now?
Cook up against anybody.
I'm not
how
saying
can you
Dalvin
make
Cook.
that
You would
argument?
take him over Derrick
I'm not
Henry?
saying
Dalvin Cook
Dalvin
is
Cook
solid.
Yeah.
You're right
is
about
not.
that.
Hey,
He's
man,
a stud running
he need to
back.
be drug tested. He said he take Dalvin Cook over Derrick Henry. Hey, go
I
to the
would.
next
Who
go
said
to the
that?
next subject, Eric. John.
John.
Go to the next
John.
Dalvin
subject,
Cook's
man.
better than Dalvin.
Okay, you know what? We're
Dalvin
gonna
Cook
get.
is better
Matter
than
of fact,
see this dude, man.
we're gonna skip and we're gonna go right to
I
the
don't know what they
ratings.
got in
Since
VA,
we're talking
but-
about this right now, the Madden
This is
22
terrible.
ratings for running backs are out, and I just want to run down the list. I don't understand how this guy got number one, but he did. Christian McCaffrey. Derrick Henry got 2. Nick Chubb got 3. Dalvin Cook got 4. Alvin Kamara got 5. Aaron Jones got 6. Again, don't know how Saquon got 7. Josh
'Cause Zoe hurt.
Jacobs. Exactly. Josh Jacobs got number 8. Zeke got 9. And Joe
Well,
Mixon got 10.
How's Joe Mixon top 10 and how's Zeke that far down?
How is Zeke that far down?
Man,
Yeah, he should be a little higher.
He was
than
terrible
that.
last year.
As a Dallas fan,
Okay.
Zeke's
A
rating
little bit
is-
higher
is
than
where
that.
it
That's a
should
little
be.
bit.
No,
It's a
little
because
bit
look, he doubled
slap in the face.
last year. He doubled his fumbles in his entire
No,
career. He
I
doubled
know
them.
that,
So,
but
yeah,
9
he moved to number 9.
So,
Last year he came in fat and out of shape. This year he's got an 8-pack and he's ready to kill people.
I
That's
just
different.
think 9
But,
is. a
but
little bit
Christian
slap in the
McCaffrey,
face.
Christian McCaffrey is number 1 because look, Derrick Henry is
Injury
awesome,
prone.
but Derrick Henry's not a receiver. Yeah, but okay, but when
He's
he was
not.
on the field for a whole season, dude, you can't
He's
not
never
discount
on the
Christian
field for
McCaffrey.
a whole season.
Ty,
is the
I
thing.
love Derrick Henry. Yes, he has, and he will be this
McCaffrey?
year. with Sam Darnold.
McCaffrey?
McCaffrey's always hurt, friend.
That's what I'm saying. He's
no, he
never on
wasn't.
the field. He's
Yeah,
never on
that
the
was
field.
last year. Okay, that was
tripping.
last year.
Well,
the year
I mean,
All right.
to be fair, Ty
If you
lives
think
in
as an
Carolina,
overall
so
what he
probably
does,
would know best.
no other running back can do at that level. I'm sorry, because he comes out
I
as a
disagree.
receiver.
Alvin Kamara?
backers can't cover.
Alvin Kamara is
can't
just as
do what
good.
he does?
He's just as good.
He
He should have had
he feels
7 or
like
8
it.
touchdowns,
All right,
and then he
well,
got yanked by Sean Payton.
well, we'll see. We'll see total yards. We'll see what happens. We'll
I'm
see.
just saying.
I
I'm just
got
saying.
Henry
Mike.
number 1 personally. I got Henry
Yeah,
at number
Henry,
1.
yeah.
I love Derrick
Honestly,
Henry.
Now he's not a pass catching back. You got to be able to do
he's a-
everything.
He's a whole truck. He's gonna run you over. Like, I mean,
They
that's
can't
what you
catch a
want.
ball.
Like,
Hey.
Derrick Henry's
Derrick-
number 1. Come on
Wait,
now.
John, he doesn't have to catch
Josh
the ball.
Norman.
It's
all
called
the
a running
videos.
back.
The way
So
the
basically,
running back,
you get
you're-
handed the ball and you
running
run.
backs
I
in
mean,
know,
today's
come on.
age.
But I think their
To
rankings
Mike's
go off
point,
of multifaceted.
Yep, exactly. That's today's running back. It's not
Not all of them.
1995 anymore.
Okay.
I mean, okay, if that's the case, then move Zeke up because he had receiving yards last year.
That's
No,
why I
Zeke's
said
going
not
no-
9.
Zeke
I
shouldn't
wouldn't
even be in the
move
top
up.
10.
So I got a question, John. John, I got a
Sanders
question.
good?
How's
And
Joe
Sanders good?
Mixon there? That's my question.
Joe Mixon's a badass.
I didn't
That's
even
why.
understand that. How's
Another,
Josh Jacobs?
another OU player.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask. Oh, we got a question. From your man Ray Lynn's asking us. So we think injury should factor into a video game rating.
Thank you, Ray.
Yes.
I think it
Yes, they should.
It depends. Yep. I think it depends.
On what?
It just depends on what the injury is. Like for instance, I'll use KD as an example. KD blew out his Achilles last year. Coming into this year, see, your ratings can always, I mean, it can go down, but your ratings can always go up because these ratings aren't going to stay this way. There's no way Derrick Henry stays a 96. If he comes out and runs the way he was running last year, he'll be a 99 or a 98, trust me. So, I mean, your ratings can always go up. Same thing with 2K. The ratings go up. So, I mean, they're not 100%. I mean, if you're not 100% sure where somebody's at going into next year, I wouldn't have gave Christian McCaffrey a 97. I mean, I like Christian McCaffrey. Like, I agree with Megan. I think Derrick Henry's the best back. So.
I just want to throw it out there just so you know how these Madden ratings are working this year. TJ Watt and JJ Watt are the same rating, 94. You tell me how that makes sense.
It doesn't.
That doesn't.
It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's what these Madden ratings are this year.
All right. So we're going to talk about the wide receivers really quick in the Madden rating. And Devontae Adams made the 99 club, which, okay, I guess I can see that. Yep. But DeAndre Hopkins is a 98 alongside Tyreek Hill. Stephon Diggs, 97. Julio is 95. Hold
on. So you telling me Devontae Adams has the highest rating?
Yes, sir. Yep.
That's what I said too, Ty.
Do you have a problem with that?
I don't have a problem with it, but I don't think he's – if he's at 99, and you said Diggs is what?
Diggs is 97.
Okay, keep going.
He ain't faster than Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill will smoke him. And
here's the
one.
Here's the one that got me. Michael Thomas at 94.
I could see that because he's had some down. He's been down because of these injuries. I could see that.
And he's injured now, I think.
All right.
He is injured now.
So then you've got Keenan Allen at 93. I don't understand how Amari Cooper got 92 above Mike Evans, Super Bowl champ Mike Evans at 91. And then rounding out the top 10, Allen Robinson with a 90.
Oh, no, Mike Evans ain't all that to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
he's a Super Bowl champion, and Mike Evans has been one of the most consistent wide receivers.
So is Tyreek Hill at that point. He should be number one, hands down. There's no faster receiver in the game, and you can't cover him. And I'm with Diggs too, being a little bit higher.
Yeah, well, hold on. Ask the Bucks. Ask the Bucks in the Super Bowl if they covered him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Guess what? They didn't have to because Patrick Mahomes was on his back the whole game.
Oh, it doesn't matter. He got covered. He didn't do nothing.
Hey,
he didn't have time to get the ball.
Chuck, your opinion on that situation, Chuck? You don't even play video games. I don't want to hear it. So when you pick up a controller and play a video game, Chuck, we'll have that conversation. But until then, I'm not having this conversation with you, Chuck. You would understand.
It's gonna be like a 4-year-old holding it upside down.
I don't understand how DeAndre Hopkins doesn't get 99.
That's ridiculous.
Maybe it's because he's not vaccinated.
He said, "Watch your lips."
Wow. He did say, "Watch your lips." So, all right, let's talk about, or you know what? Let's take a real quick break. When we come back, we're gonna call an audible here. We're gonna talk about the whole COVID situation in the NFL. Something that, I mean, according to HIPAA rules, you shouldn't have to divulge that type of information. But it's a question of, are these players going to get vaccinated to play, or are they not going to get vaccinated and be, I won't say forced and I won't say pushed, but because of their job description, they may not be able to do what earns them a paycheck. So we're going to take a real quick break. More with the Sports Arena in just a moment.
Generations Physical Therapy has been the Tri-State's leader in physical therapy services for over 20 years. And now we have a convenient location right in the heart of the capital city of Charleston, just off I-64. With convenient parking and flexible hours, your access to physical therapy is second to none. Plus, Snap Fitness is also in sight with 2 floors of gym equipment and sports enhancement training through A-Game Sports Performance. So whether you're needing hands-on physical therapy or looking to get results in our gym, our family's ready to help yours. Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness. Multiple services, multiple locations. Experience you can count on.
And welcome back into the Sports Arena on a Wednesday night. Your man Eric Wilson alongside the entire crew here. My man Ty Ray, say it again every Tuesday night on Facebook, iHeart, and YouTube. Our girl Megan Price, 806 Sports, the Sip Off Dallas Wings contributor. Mike Harritonuto, Believe in the Pac-12 podcast, and my man John Scheer, Sideline Sports Cardiac Kane. All right, public service announcement. 2 things. Number 1, there will be a smoking section later on tonight because some of us got some things we need to get off our chest. And number 2, make sure y'all tune in next Monday night. We got a brand new look for y'all and including a brand new intro for the Sports Arena. So make sure you check us out next Monday night for all that and more. So, all right, let's get into the conversation because Adam Schefter 2 hours ago on Twitter, Lamar Jackson has COVID. Trey Lance has a new deal. Dak Prescott has a strain. I can't even say the name, and I'm not going to try to. DeShaun Watson has a practice in, and Aaron Rodgers has a new wide receiver. The biggest piece on that, in my opinion, Lamar Jackson getting COVID. And, of course, people want to throw hate, saying, well, that's because he's not vaccinated. But, again, it's his choice. Second time. So the question that needs to be asked, how disheartening is it going to be for us this season if certain key players in the NFL don't play because either A, they have COVID and they just can't get themselves back to being that NFL player level, or B, they are choosing not to get the vaccine and therefore the NFL is saying, well, if you don't get it, you might not be able to play for the safety and health of everybody. John Scheer.
So I'm not sure if you guys saw this because I thought this was really important. Don't know if any of you saw this. What Tom Pelissero tweeted a couple hours ago. So basically, if somebody on a team gets COVID and they have to go to the 18th week and they cannot make up that game, when that game that's supposed to be, say, between the Titans and Steelers, it can't be made up. No players on either team get paid at all, not a dime. So if that happens, every player, every coach, everybody loses every game check that they're supposed to get for that game. That doesn't happen. Every single player does not get paid for that. So remember that, because your teammates will be pissed at you if you're the reason that they don't get their game check because you got COVID, then the game got canceled, then those guys miss out on checks. They're coming for you. Believe that.
Yeah, well, that's what they said last week because we were talking about that. Those were some of the things thrown out there that we mentioned that last week. So, I mean, it's no surprise. And I know Cole Beasley was up on the podium reading today about, it's not him getting the vaccine. He's saying what the NFLPA, what they agreed to, what obviously protocols would be. But he said even for guys that are vaccinated. But, yeah, if you don't get vaccinated, you can choose not to. But if you're the reason you contracted COVID, you were the first, and then teammates get it, yeah, and you can't make it up within the 18 weeks. We had mentioned that, like, your guys everybody's losing that game check. So I mean, I get where the players are coming from, but like like you said, Lamar Jackson, there was also I think there was 2 other players that got put on the COVID list too. And I was trying to, like, right before we came on, I saw it on Twitter and I didn't see the names, but 2 more players on the COVID list. I mean, again, I get it. You can still get it with the Delta variant if you got even if you got the vaccination, but it's a business, it's corporate. So, I mean, corporate lawyers are already saying that they can do this. They can't mandate it, but they can make your life a living absolute hell.
All right. So, I mean, Megan, Ty, let's take the Dallas Cowboys for a minute. All right. Let's say Dallas starts the season 3-1, and Dak looks like he's back and better than ever, and your running back is doing his thing. Let's say maybe your tight end or one of your wide receivers all of a sudden comes down with it. Mm-hmm. And then that player is out. Or worse, you have to forfeit a divisional game because of how it lines up. How are you, as a journalist and also as a fan, how are you going to react to this, knowing that this could have been the difference between your team getting the postseason or not getting in the postseason?
I think using Dallas is a perfect example because going into last season, we had like 15 people on our team and our staff who had COVID when we first reported to camp. So I think using Dallas is a perfect example. So the thing about the NFL that you got to realize is they're a private employer. They can do what they want to do. They can tell you, hey, you got to stand for the national anthem, which I know is a different issue, but they have the right to tell you that because they are a private employer. And they can tell you, hey, you can't get on our plane without this vaccination. Hey, you can't travel here. You can't do that. It's their right. They're a private employer. They can do what they want to do. You choose to play for them. So you got to play by their rules. If that's what you want to do, if that's who you want to play for, then you got to play by their rules. They're a private employer.
So, Ty, I'm going to go to you with that big smile on your face because your team is in what has arguably been called the toughest division in the NFL. Let's say Trey Lance, your guy that you picked number 3 in the draft. Let's say he comes down with it and then something happens to Garoppolo and we're supposed to see him start. So what do you do in this situation? I mean, how do you combat this? Because you can't ultimately force a person to get the vaccine. You can only either A, figure out a way to kind of push that on them, but you can't ultimately make them go do it. You know what I'm saying? And it does have a direct effect on the money. It has a direct effect on the team. It has a direct effect to what Mike is saying, or to what John is saying about, the other team, the opposition losing money. So now you just don't have 53 guys on you. You got 105 guys jumping on you. You know what I mean?
This is tough because I don't know, man. It's tough because I feel like you have to do what's best for you. Football. If someone doesn't feel comfortable with the shot, I mean, I don't blame them. Honestly, I don't necessarily feel 100% comfortable with the shot. I mean. I don't know. If I was a player, I didn't want to take it, I wouldn't take it. I mean, if they said you had to do this, you had to do that, then I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I wouldn't take it.
But if you're a starter, on that team, and you make your money being the great player that you are making a choice to not only give up what you love to do, but you're also hurting your financial means and possibly affecting your family's lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I look at this, granted, I completely agree with you. It's an individual's choice whether they decide to get the vaccine or not get the vaccine. What you do is your business. Okay. But if you know that doing something like this is going to keep you where you're at financially and also getting to do what you love to do, why would you not make that? I don't want to call it a sacrifice, but why would you not make that decision? I guess is my question.
Well, just listen to what Ryan Tannehill said. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think it would be different if you knew you would get the shot and you wasn't going to get COVID. The issue is a lot of people are getting the shot, but they're still getting it. Like you said, you have Delta variant, you have Lambo. I mean, I get what you're saying. I mean, but it's not like if I get the shot.
The flu shot is the same way. The
flu shot I got you, but they're not trying to.
It doesn't stop the flu. It just helps.
Okay, I got you, Megan. But they're not forcing you to take the flu shot, though. They're not trying to make you take the flu shot. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, but they force you. Okay, before all this, they forced you to put a mask on if you thought you had the flu to go into a doctor's office.
I never heard that before because I never had to put a mask on.
For sure. If you think you had the flu and you walked into a clinic and you tell them, I think I have the flu, you have to put a mask on. And that was before COVID.
And I said I never heard of that. So that doesn't mean it's not true. I just never heard of it.
I feel you.
But what I'm saying is this. I don't know. I guess I just look at it differently than y'all do. I mean, having COVID sucks. I've had it. You know what I mean? It sucks. But I mean, I don't know. They act like the shot is the cure, or so I don't know.
But Ty, the one thing they are saying is that with the Delta variant is different now because now the CDC yesterday said that even vaccinated people should wear masks in public, in buildings, in indoors. Sorry, but I just go off of how Ryan Tannehill said. I mean, you could hear like the annoyance in his voice. He goes, "Yeah, guys, but it's not about not being able to play. I mean, well, it is about not being able to play, but it's about the restrictions that they'll put on and the protocols. So if you're not vaccinated, like it's pretty much like last year. Like you live in the facility and you go home. Like if you got endorsements and sponsorships, if you choose to go out to that and you're not wearing a mask and because you will get tested every day if you're not. So they are making it hard. They're not saying that you have to, but if you go out and do things and you're not wearing a mask and you get tested, if you can't make up the game like we talked about, Eric, in the 18 weeks, then guess what? They're not getting a paycheck. And you're right. 105, 106 guys are going to be very, very annoyed because of somebody not getting it. Now, I know they said the NFL numbers today, about half an hour before we came on, I was flipping through and they said it was about 85% of the league has at least one shot. And that's when I heard Ryan Tannehill say some of his things too. So, I mean, again, we touched on it last week, Eric, and I feel the same way. I'm with Ty. Like, if you don't want it, that's fine, but just don't sit there and blast and go after people that got it. And if you got it, if people don't want it, fine. But if you don't want it, wear a mask.
And then my thing is this. Like, everybody's big on the J&J, what everyone call it, Johnson & Johnson. And then they had to recall that. I mean, so it's like.
Right. Well, I mean, I told Eric and John, like, I got the Pfizer one twice, and all I had was a sore arm twice, and I got tested 4 times throughout, like, the height of the pandemic when everything was shut down last year from May to December. I got tested 4 times, and I came back negative all 4 times. I got the vaccination because I did it. Like I told Eric and John, like I researched it. I did it for me. Like I understand there are things, but I also said to them too, the good thing about being not being obviously in the first group and the older people that were obviously the highest risk is it is sad that they were guinea pigs. Had there been a ton of problems with the vaccine? And people were getting heart issues, even if they had and they were older.
I was at the beginning of J&J.
I'm not even talking about Johnson and Johnson. I'm talking about the vaccine in general from all over the world. When you started reading, that's why I don't listen to politicians. I started scrolling through medical journals and stuff and people that were keeping track. Like if there is a ton of issues with older people, I'd be like, sweet, I'm not getting it until you fix it and the FDA can fully approve it. So, I mean, that I get both sides. If you don't want it, don't get it, but don't be mad when people say put on a mask. And if they don't, like you said, in a business, if we come in, we're like, we don't want to wear masks. We're like, fine, have a good day, right? Because they don't have to let you in.
The thing is, everybody's freaking out about if players don't have it in the NFL. We went through a whole season this past year where nobody had a vaccine. We got through an entire season, some hiccups. We got through an entire season. No games were skipped. Got through the playoffs, got through the Super Bowl. We got through everything unscathed. That was no vaccines. Now 85%, you said, of the league has the vaccine.
They said 85% have at least one shot. But John,
what are we freaking out about?
That's my point, John. I don't get it.
Another season, and we're a lot better off than we were last year.
John,
we're not going to miss the season.
No, I'm not saying miss the season, but come on, the first.
So what's everybody freaking out about?
I'm not saying anybody's freaking out. I'm saying the first 3-4 weeks of the season last year with no preseason, it looked like absolute dog crap. If you watch football, it was dog crap football.
Well, there's only 3 weeks of preseason this year.
Well, that's fine.
There was none.
There was none
last year.
Some of y'all teams going to get the preseason and still look like dog crap. Keep going, Eric.
There was none last year. And so that's why teams needed that time.
Right.
To get themselves together. And so, I mean, this conversation can go on forever and a day, and we got to keep it moving. Let me just say this, and then we are going to move forward. I still, to what Mike said, you have to choose what you feel is best for you. Individually, you have to choose what's best for you. What I'm saying is, if I'm in the NFL and I'm making millions upon millions of dollars, and I am a star player, I'm that first string guy. Okay, I'm going to do whatever I need to do to keep my position, because behind me are about 3 to 4 guys waiting to take my spot, who for all intents and purposes could be better than me. I don't know, but I'm not losing that because of something, to me, very simple. Now, if I'd have made my money and I'd have made my investments and I'm on my way out the door, okay, well then, yeah, I might say, you know what, I'm gonna retire a year early. But if I'm in my prime, I got to do what's best for me. So.
I mean, you and Megan did what you had to do, to go to the WNBA All-Star game. I did what I had to do to be able to go to Canton next week.
Right.
We all did what we had to do so we could be live, in person to these events. So it's a different scale than the NFL, but still, we got to do what we got to do because there's other people that would love to have those spots. So
exactly. All right. Let's move on because I want to keep the college football conversation going because that one got really interesting. So Texas and Oklahoma. Mike, you said something earlier to start the show that I guess now they've gotten lawyers or attorneys involved to kind of prevent Texas and Oklahoma from leaving the Big 12.
It's in the early stages, but it went from they could get lawyers to, of course, I mean, there's so much they have to go through. And like Megan said the other night, it's at least 2 years away. It wouldn't happen. I mean, definitely won't happen after this season. No. Technically, could it happen after next season? Yes, but if they go to the SEC, the teams in the Big 12 are going to make Oklahoma and Texas pay a ton of money because that's why Texas started the Longhorn Network. Hence to why I was talking about the other night why Nebraska said Tom Osborne was like, okay, we'll go to the Big 10. We don't care because Nebraska's brand, and we were talking about, California, Texas, and Florida the other night. Nebraska played a game at UCLA. I think the first year they were in the Big 10, and literally they were at UCLA, and all the captains they sent out was just kind of like a thumb, putting their nose up to California because every single captain was from California and they were all from California. So Nebraska's had that pull. Yes, they've struggled in the Big 10. We've seen it. But the lawyer part, I mean, it makes sense because Texas wanted to have the Longhorn Network. There's no Big 12 network because of Texas just having the Longhorn Network. And we know, and we saw when they started it, and you guys know Alex loves stats and numbers, but Texas was the highest money-making program in the country. And Ohio State was like right behind them. They were right there. But Texas alone was the highest money, and they didn't want to split the network revenue share with everybody else. And Tom Osborne said, I'm not going to waste time and get lawyers. See ya. And it definitely, that first year, I mean, Nebraska was still, those first 2 years was still very solid. It still dropped the quality of the Big 12 a lot. So that being said, but real quick, to get these lawyers involved now, I think it shows a lot from the Big 12, shows that you can have teams come into the Big 12. You can have teams you want to create 4 or 5 super conferences, which people think we're headed to, which I personally, that's a conversation for another, I think is stupid. But I think getting the lawyers early is a good thing instead of, like when teams are about to leave a state or, a city and they try and get these lawyers involved as a last ditch effort. Getting them involved now, I think will make it harder. That was to my point, John, like with USC and UCLA, there's no way the Pac-12 with like the money up in Oregon and Washington and Stanford, that leadership, USC's not leaving. And USC brings in a ton of money and it doesn't benefit them to go there.
So I was reading that $80 million apiece for Texas and Oklahoma they have to pay if they leave early, and they are eligible to start playing next year, 2022, in the SEC. As long as this lawyer stuff gets sorted out, 2022 is when they're first eligible.
That's right. No, that is correct. It's $80 million apiece, and like everyone says, they've already handed in their notice. No, they handed in their notice about the media rights. For through after 2024 or up to 2024. That's it. That's all they've done. They've given up the media rights to the Big 12 about using them through. All they have is up to the 2024 season. So they haven't left it yet. They haven't done all that yet. But it is $80 million fine if they decide they want to leave early. So I definitely
but Megan, don't the other schools have to vote on it? I mean, again, it's a moot point if they want
to vote them in. They don't have to vote them out. If they want to leave, they can leave, but they have to pay a fine. Now, to get into the SEC or anywhere else, yes, they have to be voted in. Only one not voting in UT is A&M. Y'all saw the video.
That was from American Hustle.
Man,
yeah.
All this is cute. But we're going to do all this just so Alabama and the boys can keep running that thing.
Oh, get out.
Okay, hold on. And that was something I wanted to talk about. That's something I wanted to talk about. We're talking the implications of football. What are the implications of basketball?
Basketball don't matter
Well, the
because
SEC and basketball
don't matter. ACC, baby.
No,
here
Roy
we go.
Williams will be rolling around.
Ty, you want some waffles?
No, I'm saying everybody need to take a knee right now, man, and bow down to the ACC. Let me
When was the last time you guys were
to
good?
the ACC, baby.
When was the last time you were good?
Wait. Wasn't there a? I mean, Gonzaga and Baylor were in the champion. There were no ACC teams to be found in the Final Four.
We beat each other up. What do you mean?
Yeah, the Pac-12 had the best tournament.
No, we're not good this year.
I think Coach K, you know what I mean? Like, you know, ACC is a lot going on, man. Coach K retired.
Here we go.
Retired. But I mean,
you hear these excuses?
Hey, man. I'm just saying, man. Like,
hey, all I know is the Pac-12 had the best tournament. Don't say y'all nothing. The Pac-12 had the best tournament, win percentage-wise. Best conference in that tournament.
When was the last time y'all won anything?
It's been a minute. I'm for that.
Let's say this is the demise of the Big 12, right? This is the demise of the Big 12. This is the start of it because West Virginia already went on record saying that because, you know, they joined in 2011. They were the 10th team whenever they did the redistricting, right? And so they already said if UT and OU are out, that they're the next ones out, right? So let's say this is the demise of the Big 12. What happens to Kansas? What happens to OSU? Because they are both basketball schools. And when I say OSU, I mean the women's.
Hey, Kansas could come on over to the ACC. I might could talk to, and you know, we might carve out a little space for them because you know we already got Louisville. Yeah, I'm gonna make a call because we already got Louisville. We love to have Kansas around so we can smack them up a little bit, especially if Carolina gets good at football now. I'm just saying.
Ty, all kidding aside, like West Virginia, I could see jumping into the ACC. That would make sense, and that doesn't hurt the ACC because they can get players there. I mean, I'm just saying they could jump ship. I don't think the Big 12 in and of itself, though, making like cracks because look, with Iowa State and Oklahoma State, teams that have been good. I mean, Texas Tech, okay, we know that they've always been there to score points. They can put a season together if they can outscore you. We all know that. TCU. They actually are one of the teams that it's crazy to say TCU.
No, come on, football-wise.
Don't even. Yeah, okay.
And track.
Anyway,
no, TCU has good track.
And Ty, you want to talk about the Pac-12? Yeah, we do.
Track.
Ty, you want to talk about the Pac-12? We talk about women's hoops. The women's Final Four was all. The women's championship was all Pac-12. Stanford and Arizona. So yeah, the ACC did nothing in the women's tournament either. Bye, Felicia. Neither did the SEC. What was the championship game? What was the championship game?
Well, first of all, I don't know why Maryland. No, hold on. First of all, I don't know why Maryland isn't in the ACC no more. I don't know why they ran from the smoke. I would have ran to the Big Ten too. I'm just saying.
But UT did better than Maryland. UT did better than Maryland in the tournament.
West Virginia stay where they at. They ain't qualified.
Wow, Charles. Yes, they are. You act like they're. Oh, please!
I don't know why they're not already.
Scared they ran.
Yeah, I don't know why they're not already in the ACC. I always wondered that about South Carolina too. I always wonder why South Carolina stays around and gets kicked around in the SEC when they come over here to ACC and it's a little easier in football. But I don't know.
Well, yeah, but they play Clemson every year
because they get money. I mean, let's call it what it is.
All about money.
They're part of that SEC network, so they know they're going to be shown on TV. They know that even though they're going to get whooped up by these other teams, they're still going to be seen.
We got our own network.
So, hold on, Eric. Who's your team, Eric? Villanova?
Penn State. The Big Ten.
He's a Penn State guy.
Penn State.
Michael Parsons.
Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Ty, why you think I did?
Because I didn't realize they still had a team. They still got a team?
Wait.
Are you really?
A team now.
Last time I heard about them was Sandusky and all that.
Oh, man. All right.
Last time I heard.
He had to go up in there.
He knows nothing.
You know you wrong for that time.
That's the last time I heard about the boys.
Look,
man.
I'm gonna say about the SEC again. If Texas, if it does come to fruition and Texas and Oklahoma jump ship, again, Oklahoma State I think is too far because the Pac-12 is always smart. Kept the regional. I mean, Colorado and Utah. I mean, they're right there, so it makes sense. Colorado left the Big 12 too when Nebraska did because they were rivals, and Colorado was looked at Texas and said, "Screw you too. We'll go over here." That being said, like I think if it does come to that, I don't know if the Pac-10 takes anybody. I mean, Pac-12, sorry, takes anybody on, because their commissioner talking at media day the other day, he was saying that, like, yes, we know we've seen the early things, but it doesn't mean that we're looking to expand. And again, yes, I mean, if the right team's there, because I said, look, two teams that have dominated out west and have still recruited and still hang. I mean, in their conference, where they say is Boise State. And I mean, it took Colorado and Utah a minute. It took Utah a minute to adapt to the Pac-12 when they came in, and they're obviously one of the upper echelon teams. Coach Whittingham has them top recruiting in the conference since he's been here. But Boise State and San Diego State, to me, would be the only two maybe that wouldn't. It's not weakening it; it's right there. But if you want to add two, but to me, I'm not for letting anybody in. You want to come in, this and that, like the SEC wants to do that. Missouri waters it down. Like Ty was saying, kidding you about, we were saying about Maryland, but Missouri waters it down. Arkansas has been junk. Tennessee's been junk. Old Miss. I mean, I was texting Eric during the Alabama game last year. The receivers, granted, one is a Heisman Trophy winner, but they ran the same pattern, 3 straight drives, and these corners were turned around like they were 8th graders. So Ole Miss's defense is junk. I mean, the bottom half, like I said, is junk. I'm not taking anything away from Alabama, Ty. I'm not going to take anything away from, okay, Auburn's kind of been there. Georgia, to me, if they can keep doing it, fine. But they choke in games when they actually should win. And then everybody's like, oh, well, they should still be ranked. No, they shouldn't, because
I tell you what, I got somewhere for TCU to go. How about the Missouri Valley Conference? How about the Big Sky Conference?
Come on now, don't do TCU like that. They're pretty
good. TCU would whoop them. They got
TCU is decent.
Missouri, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Kentucky.
Would they whoop this?
They can't even beat Clemson. Get out of here. Miami's better than them.
What do you mean Clemson? They made it championship.
But Miami's better than Carolina.
All right. We're going to stick a pin in that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining us here. I'm telling you right now, make sure you tune in again on Monday night. We got a brand new look to the show, brand new intro, but more with John Shear, Mike Caratenuto, Ty Ray, our man Alex Fleming, Megan Price, and your man Eric Wilson. We're going to get it done as always. Everyone have a great night. Anybody who wants to stay tuned, feel free, because we do, like I said, we have a smoking section. Some of us got some things we need to get off our chest. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
I got something real heavy to lay on you, man.
Now that's what I need.
Please feel free to join us in the smoking section, because we with all the smoke.
For God's sake, strap yourselves down.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the smoking section. This is our opportunity to get some things off our chest. As we have stated in the intro, this might not be suitable for anyone who's got sensitive ears or a sensitive mind. So if that's the case, we thank y'all and have a great night. That being said, I'm going to turn it over to my man, John Shear. He's got something he wants to say. I'm going to let him do his thing.
All right. Since I write for Cardiac Cane, I'm going to talk about a little bit less serious topic on the Canes. And then I'm going to talk about something that pertains to a lot bigger than just hockey. First of all, the Carolina Hurricanes, their goalie who led the league in basically every single stat you can think of, except wins, losses. He was about 15-5. They were going to pay him $1.6 million this year. He's a young guy. They cleared waivers at the beginning of the season, and then they kept him, and then they got rid of him because they didn't want to pay arbitration on $1.5 million more. But then they went out and signed a goalie for about $4.3 million. So why would you go and sign a goalie who's not nearly as good, who's trash actually, but you have basically one of the best goaltenders in hockey, and you get rid of him because you don't want to pay him $1.5 million more, even though you just went and got a guy who's going to be $1.2 million more than what you would have paid that guy. You make no sense, Carolina Hurricanes. So that's the first thing I just want to get off, because I do write for the Cardiac Cane. That's important. Even more important, Tony DeAngelo. If you don't know who Tony DeAngelo is, Carolina Hurricanes went and signed Tony DeAngelo today. none of you probably that are watching probably know who Tony D'Angelo is. Let me fill you in. Tony D'Angelo has a history, be it 10 years ago and recently. This guy's made homophobic comments. He's made racist comments. He's made all kinds of comments like that. He's been a locker room cancer to his teammates. That's why he's been cut. He's fought his own teammates in the National Hockey League. And now the Carolina Hurricanes go and sign this guy. And back in February, the Hurricanes went and put out a tweet saying hockey is for everybody. It's all inclusive. And the Hurricanes, they're a team that welcomes people, whether you're gay, you're straight, you're black, you're white. They're all inclusive. That's what the organization preaches. And that's great. But then you go and sign a guy who you just lost a lot of season ticket holders. You lost a lot of fans. I know a lot of people that write for Cardiac Cane that are no longer part of Cardiac Cane because you went and signed a guy who is a racist, homophobic, and all this stuff. And I get people deserve second chances, but when you're all those things, when you've done all those things, I don't believe you deserve another chance. You should be able to redeem yourself, but not in the National Hockey League, not in any sport. I believe you should be kicked out. You should be done. Go redeem yourself somewhere else. You don't deserve that privilege of playing a professional sport. So the Hurricanes, you're the one I'm targeting. I do not believe you got this right. You hurt a lot of people. You didn't just lose fans. You broke a lot of people's hearts. A lot of people that are gay, a lot of people that are different than other people. You broke their hearts by welcoming in a guy who's a racist and a homophobe. And I can't get down with that.
Well, yes, that is. John brings up a very good point there. I'm actually going to keep it a teeny bit positive because, again, talking about everybody's touching thoughts on the vaccine and going back and forth and who's made it political, this and that, and having to hear the word HIPAA rights one more time. The Olympics. I love the Olympics. Allegedly, the ratings are down. I get it. It's in Tokyo. They have been phenomenal. Like, just some of the stories about some people that have won medals. I mean, kid from Tunisia won the country's first ever gold medal in swimming. Absolutely awesome. I love swimming. I can't wait to get to track and field. What happened with Simone Biles, again, I'm glad it's being brought to the forefront. Again, mental health is a thing. I know a lot of people say, man, if I was in that position. Well, unfortunately, you're not. You don't have that much stress on you. And people can say, well, it's self-induced. Well, it's not really self-induced when you turn every corner and you're the favorite and you have to land everything perfect and do everything perfect. And gymnastics being a dangerous sport, as it can be if you're not all there, it is very tough. But that being said, the Olympics in general, I mean, watching the swimming today, I mean, and well, not just today, but just watching swimming in general. I mean, with Katie Ledecky, the first gold medal winner on the women's side in the 1,500 meters, because it's the first year it's been in the women's program. And it's one of those things where I just enjoy it, watch it. People, again, one of the single greatest honors, people say to win a gold medal, but to win a medal. And that's I guess my only negative gripe is when people say, oh, well, they just won silver, just won bronze. Just does not belong in the sentence with silver and or bronze. So that's all I'd say. But again, watch the Olympics, support it. Great stories. I mean, Team USA doing good. But I mean, just to see some of these other athletes that have won gold medals in upsets, absolutely awesome. So again, let's stay positive. Watch the Olympics come together. Track starts this weekend, I think. So it'll be, swimming wraps up, gymnastics wraps up, and then we go to the track, which will be very awesome. So enjoy the Olympics, people. Every 4 years, well, in this case, 5, enjoy them.
So when I do the smoking section, I always, I guess for lack of a better phrase, I kind of let loose on someone or an entity because I'm upset. But this time I'm actually looking at the man in the mirror and I'm going after myself. And what I mean by that is I got a problem with black males who don't support the WNBA. Now, I was graced with meeting some amazing women when I was in Vegas for the WNBA All-Star Game, the 25th WNBA All-Star Game. I walked past Breonna Stewart. I got to meet Kalia Copper. I hugged Courtney Vandersloot. Arike, I got to see her. I met Renee Montgomery, a former WNBA player, now co-owner of the Atlanta Dream. You know what was missing from all that? We were. And when I say we, I mean Black male media members. To all my brothers out there, this is for you. Get off your ass if you're serious about being in the media and cover these women. Because these athletes, what they do day in and day out, are not only fighting for themselves, but they're fighting for us. They're fighting for our culture. And they are pushing our message to the forefront. We have to support them. We have to get behind them. You know, the phrase used to be, behind every great man, there's a better woman. I'm telling you right now, there are a lot of queens out there and ain't enough kings. And if you don't know what that means, then this conversation ain't for you. So what I'm saying to all of you out there is simply this. The WNBA in 25 years has made social, economical, and has made advancements for our culture. As Black male media members and as Black men in general, we need to support them in everything that they do. And I will leave it simply with this. To all my brothers out there, please remember one thing. Without them, our asses wouldn't be here.